Thank you for watching this video of the AB 540 and the California DREAM Act application portion of the regional trainings. Throughout this presentation, you will notice these icons. They are there to let you know of additional resources that are available for you. These resources can be found on the Commission's website or in your Web Grants portal. The California DREAM Act application, or CADAA, is available for undocumented students with or without DACA, TPS status, and U visa holders. For the application, the student will need to create a user ID, a password, and security questions. First, we will talk about the AB 540 requirements to qualify for in-state tuition. The first requirement is time and coursework. Option A is to complete 3 years of high school credits and 3 years total attendance at any of the elementary, middle, or high schools in California. SB 68 expands on the equivalency of high school attendance to include adult schools, County Office of Education, Unified School Districts or High School District, the Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation, and California community colleges. This expansion directly benefits students who do not have a California high school diploma or GED. The second requirement is degree or transfer eligibility. The degree equals graduation from a California high school or the test equivalent. SB 68 expanded the requirement to include an earned associate's degree from a California community college or by meeting the minimum transfer requirements at a CSU or UC. For AB 540 eligible students who are awarded, they will be required to complete a non-resident tuition exemption waiver declaring that they will file an application to legalize their immigration status. This form must be submitted by the student in order to get paid for their Cal Grant. The affidavit exempts qualifying students from paying non-resident tuition and certifies that students are eligible to apply for Cal Grant under the California DREAM Act application. The AB 540 affidavit serves two purposes. One is to verify that the student meets the educational requirements, and the second is to certify the intent to establish legal residency. It is important that there is good communication between the Financial Aid Office and the Admissions Office regarding the AB 540 affidavit to ensure that it is requested and completed in a timely fashion. Most students have no idea this form exists or that it is a requirement to receive their aid. It is really up to the schools to communicate with those students as early in the process as possible to get this completed on time in order to be awarded when disbursement begins. Here are some best practices when working with your AB 540 eligible students. First of all, it's important to ensure collection and distribution of the non-resident tuition exemption form between the Financial Aid Office and Admissions and Records prior to disbursement. Disbursing funds prior to collecting the affidavit will result in an audit finding and potential reimbursement to the Commission. Schools should train all staff on AB 540 eligibility, including proper state residency determination. Schools should confirm that their financial aid management system codes AB 540 students appropriately so that the school can contact these students early in the process. When needed, schools will need to update AB 540 verification policies and procedures as state and federal regulations change. Remember that most DREAM Act application filers do not realize they are required to have an AB 540 affidavit on file or even know what it is, so it should never be assumed that the student will not need to be prompted to get that form into the institution. You will need to find all of your students who applied via the California DREAM Act application. Customizing your roster using the Customizing Your Roster tools found in Web Grants is one way to find your DREAM Act applicants. On the next slide, we'll take a look at another one. The other way to find all of your DREAM Act applicants and search your student's ISIR is to download the information from a report. To download the reports for the ISIRs, begin at the Cal Grant section on the home page, select Data Transfer, and then select Report Download. You will be brought to this menu, the Report Download screen. Your school ID will pre-populate. Next, you will choose the academic year from the drop-down menu. We're searching for the California DREAM Act ISIRS report from the menu. After you select the report, you will select Retrieve File. The raw data may be imported to your school's financial management system to use with your software, or you can take the raw data and convert it by using the Cal ISIR tool from the Tools link located in Web Grants. The Cal ISIR tools are used to open and view Cal ISIRs in an Excel format. Generally speaking, and with few exceptions, students holding a non-immigrant visa will not be eligible to apply for state financial aid. One exception to this is students who have TPS, or Temporary Protected Status. Temporary Protected Status is assigned by the Secretary of Homeland Security due to conditions in the country that temporarily prevent the country's nationals from returning safely, or in certain circumstances where the country is unable to handle the return of its nationals adequately. For example, an ongoing armed conflict, an environmental disaster, or an epidemic. TPS is a temporary benefit that does not lead to lawful permanent resident status or give any other immigration status. Aside from those who have TPS status, U visa holders are also eligible to file a California DREAM Act application. The U visa is a non-immigrant visa which is set aside for victims of crimes and their immediate family members who have suffered substantial mental or physical abuse and are willing to assist law enforcement and government officials in the investigation or prosecution of the criminal activity. U visa and TPS holders are not eligible for federal student financial aid, but can apply for the DREAM Act application and may be eligible for state aid if they meet the requirements. The T visa allows certain victims of human trafficking and immediately family members to remain and work temporarily in the United States, typically if they agreed to assist law enforcement in testifying against the perpetrators. T visa holders are eligible to apply for federal financial aid and should file a FAFSA as eligible non-citizens. T visa holders are not eligible to file the California DREAM Act application, but we are presenting this information for general knowledge purposes. One final note of interest is that it is estimated that visa overstays account for 50% of undocumented immigrants in the U.S., and the Department of Homeland Security reports that almost 3% of overstays are exchange students. F, M, and J1 visas are being targeted as a result. The Trump administration has redefined unlawful presence to begin on the date the visa expired, versus the date that the government discovered the violation. In addition, penalties for violators were increased. Previously, students could renew or update their visa in their home country and potentially return to the U.S. Current law now bans violators who overstay their visa by 180 days from returning to the U.S. for either 3 or 10 years. The California Dreamer Service Incentive Program is a new program intended to help CADAA-eligible students who are eligible to receive in-state tuition and be a Cal Grant B recipient. It is anticipated to start in the 2021-2022 academic year. Applications will be available starting July 1st on the website listed on this slide. For those students who have sufficient financial need, this program gives them the opportunity to do volunteer work at a recognized state, federal, or local agency and get paid. The Student Aid Commission is working to integrate this program into our system for the upcoming academic year. The main points of the program may be finalized further, but at this point they are a maximum of 2,500 awards can be awarded at any given time. The program will operate on a first-come, first-served basis with a priority given by DREAM Act application completion date. The California Dreamer Service Incentive Program will provide payments to Cal Grant B receiving DREAM Act students up to a maximum of $1,500 a semester or $1,000 a quarter for those students who have worked 100 hours a quarter or 150 hours a semester at an approved site. As more information becomes available, CSAC will provide updates by way of our special alerts or operation memos. For the grant, the definitions of an institution or organization are as follows. A qualifying institution is any institution defined in Section 69432.7 and any school on the eligible schools list that accepts Cal Grant B. A qualifying organization includes a federal, state, or local government entity with a 501c3 tax exemption. More information for the program will roll out by the summer of 2021. One significant change that occurred in the 2020-2021 academic year is that the California DreamLoan program is now available for both undergraduates and graduate students at the CSUs and UCs. These students must meet the eligibility requirements. Senate Bill 354 expands eligibility for the California DreamLoan program to graduate programs at California State and University of California campuses. It is estimated that 500 graduate students will become eligible to receive loans under this bill, according to the CSUs and UCs. A typical challenge that arises with many Dreamers is they complete a FAFSA with their DACA SSN instead of the California DREAM Act application. Also, the reverse is true. What should the student do? In the event that a student completes the wrong application, the first that must be done under any circumstances is to have the student complete the correct application. In most cases, the error will occur when a student completes a FAFSA instead of a CADAA. When that happens, the following steps should be taken. So first, the student should complete and successfully submit the California DREAM Act application. Then, at that point, either the student or the school needs to submit the G55 application conversion form with the corresponding DACA SSN and DREAM Act ID. Once received, CSAC will process the application conversion. Let's discuss the selective service requirement for all male students. All male students between the ages of 18 to 25, regardless of immigration status, must register for selective service in order to receive state or federal financial aid. Students can register by mail when they are 17 years and 3 months. CADAA filers must register by mailing the paper registration form because there is no online option. The selective service registration card can take more than 3 months to arrive by mail. Having a social security number is not required to register for selective service. In this case, the SSN field should be left blank when filling out the paper form. To mitigate fears and concerns from students and their families who are nervous about registering because they fear their undocumented immigration status will be shared, we should assure students that the Selective Service website states that they do not share information about a male citizenship status. Please make sure your students are aware of this and emphasize that it is a requirement for financial aid. CSAC does not share student data with Selective Service and is committed to protecting the privacy and immigration status of students. Now we will talk about DREAM Act application verification. Similar to the Department of Education, the Commission selects a percentage of applicants for verification. As the institution verifying eligibility, our guidance is that you should follow the federal V1 verification criteria, including verifying number in household, number of household members in college, student income, and parent income, and to treat all of your students equally. As a reminder, CADAA eligibility includes once again collecting the affidavit from your Cal Grant eligible students. To help your DREAM Act filers, you can use the DREAM Act ISIRS search to identify and reach out to students with incomplete applications. The name search results with a common name will result in many records. Let's talk about some of the information on this page. You can tell the first two students' applications were saved and submitted because you will notice that an EFC was generated and there is a Y in the submit flag column. The third student has started but not yet submitted the application because there is no EFC listed and you can see the submit flag area is blank. When you click on the correct link, you'll be viewing the student's Cal ISIR and can make corrections for a dependency override, professional judgment, or verification. Schools sometimes incorrectly think that PJ changes done directly on the Cal SAR carry over to web grants. However, all PJs must be accompanied by the G21 in order to update a student's Cal Grant record. A good rule of thumb is to treat all changes to the CADAA the same as FAFSA. Here is the Confirmation View screen. This screen will appear when the Confirmation View link is selected from the DREAM Act ISIR search screen that we looked at a few moments ago. Notice the student's name, DREAM ID, and transaction number are listed in the top left area. You can remind students to have their DREAM ID ready whenever they contact the Commission or their college. In addition, it lists issues that need to be resolved in red and next steps a student should consider. This screen is the same view that students see on their own DREAM Act application. This screen will appear if the SAR Report link is selected from the DREAM Act ISIR search screen. A SAR is the California DREAM Act Student Aid Report and is the equivalent of the SAR for FAFSA filers. The SAR is basically a transcript of the submitted application. The student or school can choose which ISIR transaction to view or print. In California, more perhaps than any other state, Dreamer Resource Centers have been established at many colleges and universities across the state. They have emerged as a critical source of resources, guidance, peer-to-peer mentoring, and personal support for undocumented students and students with mixed status families. The Student Aid Commission is looking to forge better connections and improve communications to the many Dream Resource Centers at institutions throughout the state. As part of our email communications listserv, the Commission has created a DREAM Act application undocumented student selection to better serve those who work with undocumented students and students with mixed status families by providing targeted information that may assist the cohort. Finally, the Commission, in partnership with our Dreamer Resource Center partners, plan on holding annual CSAC and Dreamer Resource Center convenings in the near future. We encourage everyone to engage with us on social media since we have a dedicated team working on keeping posts updated and relevant to the time of the year. Please check out our websites for more information. If you have any questions, please contact school support by phone or email. Thank you.